Was that live, live, live? We are live.
We are live.
Live.
Hopefully,
Live, live,
hopefully,
live.
I don't need to re-edit that thumbnail because I just quit without saving.
Oh no! What are you
Welcome,
doing?
ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another week, and
Another
week.
we have some hot rumors. Some hot rumors going around.
Some hot rumors.
Mostly about Switch, Nintendo, Switch 2. We're joined again tonight by Flow Rider, spitting the hottest
Sup?
bars. Cisco, you might
Yes,
not have
sir.
heard. I think you were messing with your camera and the mic was off or something. Jake
Oh,
started,
I heard.
started rapping a little bit. Oh,
I heard. I chose to not respond.
well, that was rude of you. That was very rude. Jake,
Yeah, it was. I'll do it again.
Jake, aka Flow Rider, how have you been?
Well, it's been pretty good. I'm kind of letting it flow within me. You know, all the bars, everything, all the sweet stuff. You know.
I was gonna say, what is that?
But
Okay.
What is that?
Okay.
Life's been
He's letting
flowing.
it flow with you.
I'm letting it flow within me.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Don't know how I feel about that one at all.
You gotta let it flow within you, man. It's the only thing you can do. It flows through me. My dinner.
Cisco,
It
what's been
goes
flowing
me.
through you? What's been flowing through you lately?
My dinner.
Your dinner's been flowing through you?
My dinner's been flowing through me lately. Yes, sir. Like you wouldn't believe.
The energy from the food is giving you strength.
That's not the kind of flowing I'm talking about.
So what kind of flowing are you talking about then?
Straight into the toilet.
Yeah?
Yeah, been flowing right through me, bro. Like I said.
How
like
many
you wouldn't
dumps have
believe.
you taken today? How many dumps have you taken today?
Like 8.
Like 8.
Like 8.
You are a liar. That's a lie.
No, it's
Jake,
honest
how many
truth.
dumps have you taken today? We're giving the people what they want to hear.
2, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got 2. I got 2.
You're on 2. I'm only on 1. I'm only on 1 today. It was solid. It was real nice and solid.
Thank you for updating us on the status of your dinner.
I mean, I just wanted to
Appreciate you, bro.
I just like letting you guys know a bit of, information about me that you didn't ask for, but it might help you further this. It might just, grow our connection a little stronger. Sometimes we need to talk about these kind of things.
Yeah, like I said, thanks for letting me know, man. It's
You're
all
welcome.
Yeah, it's gonna help
all I
you
ever wanted to
flow within you too.
Sometimes I just
will flow within me.
Sometimes I just open up the hate and let it flow into me. If you're down
Let
with
the
the
hate
sickness
flow
like
through
I
you.
am.
If you're down with the sickness. What are you sick with?
Well, I've been disturbed lately. That's all I know.
Like the band?
Been
3 doors down with the sickness.
Like the band?
Just like that's what I was kind of making a joke from some lyrics that's in the Disturbed song. So yes, like the band.
Hey, I'm disturbed too.
Can you guys give me your best? Jake?
What?
No,
My best what?
Your best.
I don't even.
Cisco, that reminds me, Cisco. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I got a song for you to listen for the channel.
Oh, no.
For the channel.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh boy, here comes EVB. Shall we let him in? It looks like he's back on his phone camera. Hopefully he's not on his mic from his phone. Let's bring him in and see what's good with him. EVB.
Yo, what up?
I love seeing the headphones and the mic. It's a beautiful sight.
Yep.
So EVB, we've already been discussing. Cisco's taken 8 dumps today. I've taken 1. Jake's taken 2. How many have you taken today?
I think 3.
God, you're on 3.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nice. All right.
That's a real man.
Anything else been going on with you, Eric? How you been?
Not too bad. Finally got a response from my job. They're gonna say beginning of February is when I'll get the second interview, and the head of the department already wants me to join. So I'm very happy on that one.
Hey,
Let's
let's
go.
So I'm sick and tired of my job. I want to leave.
You haven't suffered long enough.
No. I've suffered plenty.
You ain't earned
I,
it.
I would like to say,
You ain't
what
earned
I've
it.
suffered, but I can't due to legal reasons.
Oh, see, they got him on an NDA.
So
They got this dude on
Man,
an
they
NDA.
really got him suffering. I am sorry.
Bro, did you hear
I
that
am
quiver in his
sorry.
voice?
Yeah, he's not doing so
the moment
hot
I
right
leave
now.
is when I'm gonna say what's been up, and I won't say the company's name, but I'll say what juicy stuff we have.
Oh, yes. I can't wait to hear this.
No, we know
I
Dave is
love
all
drama.
about the drama.
I love drama.
Dude,
We
always
all
all
love
about the
job
drama.
drama here.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about, bro?
Mr.
No, I do
Instigator
love
himself.
drama, but no.
Mr. Instigator himself.
Nah, never.
I
Never
mean,
me.
I
They
feel
love
like
the
it's
job
both of you
drama.
that instigate.
I don't instigate anything. What do you mean?
Nah.
That's a lie.
I've never instigated
I
anything.
think we all
What are you
disagree
talking
on that.
about?
Never
Ooh.
instigated anything. Okay, buddy.
Ooh.
Whatever you say, buddy.
Hey, look, as long as it's whatever I say, as long as we're in agreement,
It is whatever you say.
as long as we're in agreement.
You know what? I'll put it all out there one day. One of these days, I'm gonna just put your dirty laundry out to the whole world of how big of an instigator
Right.
you are.
He'll have a list.
You know
He'll
what?
just have a flat list ready for you. He'll have even the day, the time, whatever you want. He'll have it ready for you.
No, see, you say that, but when he goes to check, he's going to find out, oh, this was just me instigating between Cisco and Ty. That's what
Never.
he's going to see. He's going to go check. and he's gonna
Everyone
be like,
here
"Man,
everyone here knows. I don't. How many times have I not even been around and I come into the Discord the next morning to see some argument between these two going on? All the time.
Look, I mean,
I could say that
all the
one.
time.
Yeah.
look, I didn't say nothing ever happens without you. I just said it's the guaranteed way for it to happen. I mean, like you
Not
said, you
even.
love drama, so why would you not start more?
Not between my best friends. I would
Don't
never
give me
want to see
that.
drama between my.
He threw out the best friend card. He's like, not between
No,
I would
my
never.
best
I would
friends."
never want to see drama between two of my best friends. I don't know what you're talking about.
That
You
is
are
the biggest cap.
absolutely.
bro. The biggest cap.
Dang.
You are bugging, bro. You've been
He
bugging
is
since the
playing the
moment we
card.
started. Since we started this.
They're both
tonight.
playing cards.
Yeah.
Buzzing.
By the way, what was
He's
the
playing
time
the
to start
instigating
this?
card. Man,
What are you talking
He's instigating right now. He's instigating right now.
about? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. All right, you're right. I'll
Thank
stop.
you.
I'll stop
Thank you.
instigating.
Oh.
Apology acknowledged, not accepted.
I mean,
yet.
hey,
Oh,
can we
okay.
then agree to this? Drake prolongs the arguments.
I'll say this about
You think
Jake.
you don't?
depends
Jake,
on the-
I never said I did it. I'm just saying.
All right. As long as you acknowledge it.
Jake will never want to see the argument end, but he'll also never want it to get too spicy either, though.
Right.
He's the middleman.
Or he tries to be.
I don't.
Then he
I don't
jumps in
mind
the
sitting
conversation
back
and
and
get
eating
no
the
topics on.
popcorn.
That's what I like
But-
doing. I'm with you, Jake. That's exactly how I am. I won't instigate it, but I will definitely sit back and enjoy it. And I'll throw my 2 pennies in if I have
He'll
to.
start it
Yes,
and
sir.
then just watch the
Yeah.
fire burn. That's pretty
That's
much it.
basically yeah.
Fire burning on the dance floor.
I can't tell you how many
Straight
times
up like Sean
when I
Kingston.
was younger, like 10 years ago when YouTube was like so big, I would always go through YouTube comments just to see the arguments. I would like spend like hours just those arguments, eating them on the side. It's I enjoy
YouTube-
sometimes watching the fire burn for sure.
The YouTube comment
Fire burn.
section is still a good place to this day. Jake, I probably haven't told you about my alt account where I just stir the pot.
You made an alt account just to
We
start
weren't-
the pot? What,
Yeah,
what
no one-
started that? Like, what did you see? You're like, okay, I need to make an alt account now.
because
The
while
trolls.
I don't like starting drama between my best friends, I love starting drama with random people.
Get
But I
outta
also
here,
don't want it
bro.
connected. I don't want it connected to my name, so I made an alt account
There's a real
because
reason
I want
right there.
Right? It's like we don't want to be caught, but we do want to start shit.
Yeah, I didn't want them going back to like my actual page and finding like more about my personal life. So
Right.
who's echoing?
Everyone
Okay.
turned silent.
My man
That's
caught
what I
that
thought.
quick.
It's
Who
like
is it?
The moment he did that, the penny dropped, and it's like,
Who?
All right, guys, we're gonna just segue right into our first and only topic of the night for the most part. Pretty much just gonna be talking about Switch 2. And
Big news.
I don't know if you guys have actually been following at all, so I'm gonna give a quick little rundown of what's going on. I think it was last week Bloomberg reported that for this year, 2023, Nintendo is putting their base Switches or the OLED models or the Switch Lights, whatever the current Switch into production to have a lot more made this year, because apparently the chip shortage affected sales last year. So they're projecting to sell like 30 million this year, which in my opinion, I think that's too much. I
Right.
don't think they're going to sell that many. But so with that news, a lot of people think that if they're putting that many Switches into production, there's no way they're going to have a new model coming out this year. But recently, after that news came out, I forget the name of someone in Japan or a company or an outlet somewhere in Japan. Their sources have said that Nintendo has been in talks with different production companies to start producing the Switch 2 model to set to come out next year, like mid 2024. And so that's the news. So even though none of this is like super crazy, we're still kind of in the dark with the whole thing. It's still a lot of speculation. We don't know if any of it's actually true.
Mhm.
It does sound like it's coming from some people who have been right about things before. I think Bloomberg's been right about some things. They've also been wrong about things. So, heavy grain of salt with all of this, but
take it as you will.
it is pretty big news going on right now. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I guess first and foremost, with all these Switches being made this year, I know Eric and Cisco thought before that we'd see a next-gen console this year. Do you guys still think we'll see a next-gen console this year?
Basing, I guess, on the rumor, I would say no. But like you said, it's a coin flip to see how trustworthy it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like man, that's rough, because it could just sort of be like
Bait, thinking that it's next year, and then
no,
turns out it's this year.
I guess I'm thinking like I don't know how to put it into words. I don't know how to put it into words, but it's hard to say for sure, I think. I think if anything, it might just be them I yeah, just I don't
Next
know.
person.
I'll just put I don't know, 'cause I'm
He's
trying
like,
to
I
think
don't have
about
any
I'm
idea.
I'm trying to
circle
think
back.
about how to articulate what I'm saying, and I just do not have the words right now.
Jake, what are you thinking right now?
So I was one of those people that didn't really think that the next gen console is coming this year. Mostly because I just don't think it's time yet. Um, I also personally don't want it to because I still have too many Switch games I still want to play. But I also just don't know like I don't even know exactly what they're gonna do with the next gen console. Like what exactly are they going to improve upon? Is it even going to sell? Like they have to for them to like really make a new next gen console, it has to blow people out of the water because this console is already like S tier console already. So to make a better console than what the Switch provides now, especially with the OLED model with the bigger battery life, the better screen and whatnot, it's just how do you blow it out of the water after that? And then the other issue is we still have, the new Zelda game coming out this year. There's still probably a few more releases this year, I would imagine as well. So I still think it's too early for this year for the next gen console to come out. And when it comes to Bloomberg, it's kind of like you said, they're very 50-50. I usually don't trust Bloomberg all that much either. But even without this article, I figured I think it's just too early. I think there's too much still that the Switch can still do, and I think Nintendo is more or less looking at this more on from a marketing standpoint, and how they're going to do sales for the next console because they know that they have to really make it sell well if they want to make it big news.
Yeah, I didn't want it to sound like a cope, but I guess that sort of puts into words what I was thinking is like, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be for the new console. I could see that being numbers for what they or for this console. I mean, I could see that being numbers for what they project the new console might be at some point.
Mm.
But yeah, I definitely don't think that they honestly believe they're going to sell that many original Switches in this time frame. I don't see it.
Well, I thought that too, and I think 30 million is still a stretch. But I think if this could mean they have a Zelda OLED in production. And personally, if it looks cool, I would buy a Zelda OLED just because I want one. And I think a lot of people would do that. And I also
Yeah.
think a lot of people are probably going to just buy Switches just because it's still selling like crazy. Um, I think a lot of people are finding themselves in a situation now where it's been out for a number of years, and it could just be kids at home where they need a second one. Tears of the Kingdom's going to come out, and suddenly two people within that household now are going to want to play that day one, and someone's going to say, well, you know what, I'm just going to go and get myself. Like, I think a lot of people are falling into that situation now more so than before. And that's just Zelda. That's just an OLED Zelda that could possibly be a reason why they're really ramping up production. Because I mean, if they have a cool looking Zelda OLED, it's gonna sell like hotcakes. It's probably gonna sell more than the Wii U did in its whole entire life, just because the Switch is that popular now. To go back on what Jake was saying, and something that I don't think anyone has to worry about at all, is even if a new next gen console came out this year, that does not mean the Switch suddenly just gets thrown to the side and it's done. No more
it's not
games
gonna
coming
get
out
buried.
for it. No, not there's the install base is way too huge for them to just suddenly by December say, nah, Switch is old news now. No more of that. I think they know they have something here with the Switch, and I don't think the next gen console needs to be anything super crazy, like a crazy leap. Other than it just needs internally to be stronger to handle some more powerful games. I think we're starting to see the Switches age more and more now. And it's not just for Nintendo, but third parties as well are no longer going to continue to keep supporting Switch when the system just can't handle it. That's just what's going to happen. And maybe that's if we go another year or two with no next gen, more powerful hardware, we're gonna just see less and less and less third parties supporting the Switch. What do you have to say, Jake?
So now that you actually explained that, I actually wouldn't mind this idea, right? So if a next gen console comes out from Nintendo, I wouldn't mind it being like you said, like a perfected Switch or a console that has high battery life, can run like 60 FPS without too much problems or something like that. 1080p or something, and maybe even 4K if they could try to do that.
I would love
Great,
that.
that would be crazy if they could perfect that, but allow at least the current Switch games to be played on that gen console. I'm forgetting the term for some reason in my head.
Backwards compatible.
Yeah, backwards
Backwards
compatibility.
yeah.
If it's backwards compatible, then I wouldn't mind that, because then at least I could play the games on at least a better screen or something like that. And who knows, maybe even some games in their coding may have also been designed for 4K or 60 FPS, but the Switch just can't run it. But now they could like re-release games or something like that into 60 FPS 4K into that console, and then to be like much more brighter. Like could you imagine Breath of the Wild in 4K 60 FPS on like a new gen console? That would be crazy.
It'd be nuts. And I think that'd be a good enough upgrade. I think that would be
Yeah.
I see it as a similar DS to like 3DS type of transition.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where it's like it is a next gen and it is more powerful, but you could still play your DS games in it. That's just kind of how I see it. Whereas even if you look at a DS compared to a 3DS dual screens, they still look very similar. It still has the DS branding. I think that's what a Switch 2 should try and base its branding off of, as something similar to that. And yeah, I agree with you. I would hope it's backwards compatible.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it needs
Because
to
that
be.
would save a lot of people. Yeah, it kind of needs to be, because it would be so much more affordable for people. It would be like that would draw people in, because then they don't have to think that they have to spend money on more games and more new games on the next gen console, because it only works on the next gen console or something like that. If they have a backwards
Right.
compatibility, people can just buy the console and not have to worry about spending another $60 on the next newest game or something like that.
Yeah.
And imagine if
I
it's like
agree.
they start out with like a game like ARMS, and then it's like a crap game too. You just wasted $60 for nothing.
Yeah, and
We don't need ARMS too.
We don't.
I think
But-
I think one thing that would need to be done is that they can make it more powerful and all that stuff. And I think that's definitely the move. Now, I think in doing that, and also at the same time, um, their marketing for it, I think they need to present this as I guess, well, this is just my personal opinion, but it's more of almost like a home console, as opposed to something that needs to be another handheld home console hybrid. I think it can still, obviously, you keep the handheld capabilities, but the main focus, I think, if they want to keep both alive at the same time, is to do that. I think that's the move, personally.
Probably because
You-
they have to increase their hardware if they want to have better games to be played on it. It makes sense that they might have to expand the Switch to it from its current size.
Yeah. So I
So
think if
so
they,
you're thinking, keep going.
yeah, I was just saying, I think making the focus on it being a home console is probably the move. Because then you can do all those things, and you can have it not interfere with the original Switch's market. And like, it would give people a reason to have both, even if they don't need to. Because you know how
You
people
want
are; they're
them
always looking to
you
spend money.
you kind of want them to go back to a handheld and a home console as they like used to do.
Um,
Is that like
the
what you're
DS
saying?
and the Wii.
Yeah, exactly.
almost like that.
Because
Yeah.
I really hope that they don't do that.
Dude, like that was the worst time of my life. I had to buy 2 separate games for the same thing.
It
Because
wasn't even that. It's just that this. I feel like now that we see how well the Switch can do without needing to have 2 different consoles and one that's just completely underpowered compared to the home console. Then like I don't feel like we need that anymore. Especially if there's going to be other things like the Steam Deck out there where people are clearly
Right.
playing, current
That's true.
gen stuff. And then Nintendo has, right now it's fine, but 5 years from now, when people are still using a 2017 Switch, I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be the move.
Yeah.
Well, how much of a sacrifice would
could
you do
actually
because of
see-
the
Hang on.
hardware price and everything like that? Just
What do
because,
you
like
say,
you
Eric?
said, what would you sacrifice in order to get that increase in hardware? Because that's definitely going to come with some drawbacks. Like it might have a louder fan, or the frame itself might be bigger, or even the price might increase. So, what do you think would be a good balance for it?
But I don't think it needs to like I said, as long if it could just run 60 FPS and maybe upscale to 4K. It doesn't need to be 4K native for me.
Mhm.
I don't think it necessarily needs to be a huge like I don't necessarily think we need to lose out on really much of anything at all. I just think technology has come a long way since 2017, and even I believe the stuff in the Switch is probably a little older than that. I think we can upscale to 4K now pretty easily if it was just if the base model had that. So I don't think we need to lose out on too much. I'm not asking for it to be a PS5 handheld. I just think if it could just be a PS4 handheld, I think we're sitting pretty good. We talked before here on this pod that current graphics and stuff is the leaps aren't that crazy anymore. To where, for me, if I'm playing a handheld, I don't even play handheld, but if Nintendo had PS4 type of power, I mean, their games usually don't try to fall into the realistic side of things anyway. Their art styles and just the way their games typically look, they would look just absolutely amazing 60 frames per second 4K.
Yeah.
That's really all I would need.
And I do want to clarify. I wasn't saying I want them to go back to that model. I'm just like the handheld home console model. I'm just thinking from like a business point of view. If they're going to release a new console, then this would make it would make the most sense for them to release a new console and not interfere with how well this old one is doing. Because like it's almost like there's conflict in between, people saying, "All right, I'm ready for something new," and the old Switch still selling as we see, because there's a lot of clamor for both.
I think we lost Eric, but yeah,
He's just being really still.
there he is.
Back? Okay, cool.
There he is.
I'm like, what happened?
I think the most logical balance I could see this doing is that if the next gen console, and it's like Gabe said, I think technology has come far enough that they could do this, that I think they could make it while it's docked at the home base or something like that. The dock's going to be like bigger or something like that, and the home console is going to be able to do 4K 60 FPS. But if they have the handheld option that you could play it, then they're going to downgrade the handheld's going to downgrade to like 720 or something, or 40 or something, 40 FPS, something like that. Because personally, for me, I'm on handheld. I don't need graphics or FPS. I really don't. But if I would love to see it on my TV, which is 4K, and like having a 4K TV but not having 4K graphics is kind of weird to me. But it's not a big deal to me. Like graphics aren't the most important thing for me for gaming anyway. But like that would probably be the most logical upgrade I could see them doing, is that the home console itself is going to be like the best gaming experience, but handheld is just for when you're on travel, when you need it, stuff like that. Because it's like also Gage said, I don't really play handheld that much other than when I'm traveling, which I don't. I do relatively um a couple times, a couple year in 1 year, and like the entire Poland trip I was basically always on handheld. But when I'm playing on handheld at that point, I don't really care about FPS or graphics. I just want to play the game, you know. So that's probably the best balance I could think of, and I don't know exactly what would be part of that technology to make it work, but I feel like we're in this kind of time and this kind of era that I think it could be possible, honestly.
I agree, because also with handheld, with the screen being a lot smaller than a TV screen, you tend to not notice flaws as much because it's just so much smaller, and so the game
Right.
still looks pretty good, especially on like an OLED. So yeah, I agree with that.
Plus, I mean,
Does
we're used to
anyone-
like the DS handhelds anyway, and like look at those, and all those are sprites basically. So I feel like Nintendo fans kind of are used to the fact that the handheld's not going to be
as powerful.
fantastic. Yeah, as powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone want something from the next Switch that we haven't talked about yet? Is there something where maybe you don't agree that this is the direction they're going in, and you want something completely different from it? Because I mean, I personally don't. Like I said, I think just having pretty much a Switch that's just graphically a little better and more powerful, and I'll be happy.
Better controllers.
I was actually gonna make a joke about that too. I
Better
just don't want it to go where it's that for the Wii, the Pro thing. I just don't want that. Make it better. We don't need these little things.
Yeah,
You
like
talking Joy-Cons?
Yeah, the Joy-Cons, but I was gonna make a joke that we're going to the next step where just like the Wii, where they had those added things to it to make it quote unquote better. I don't want that. Let's just hope it doesn't go that route.
mo-
So when you say better controllers, do you just want not Joy-Con drift?
Probably for me, yeah, because I'm actually a lot on portable, and when I play some of my games, my character for some reason just goes left, and I'm like, I didn't input that.
I would think I would probably bet they would at least have that figured out if they're releasing new like a new.
They might have figured that
console.
out on the OLED, haven't they?
No,
I think they figured it out on the
Did
OLED.
any of us have it?
I don't think so.
I'll research it though. I'll look it up
yeah, I'm not sure on that.
because I'm curious on that.
I think Joy Cons are cool as an idea. It's just the execution was bad. And I think
Was it though?
I mean, so I think the main thing that holds the Joy Cons back is their the gimmick that they have where you can use each individual Joy-Con as a controller. I think they need to drop that. I think if they drop that and just make the real estate on the Joy-Cons like better used for like single player, I think that would be a much better
But I mean, it's
decision.
still for like friends, like parties. So I don't. If they drop that, then more people will have to get controllers to hang out with their friends. If it's just on one Switch, so I don't know if that would be the move.
I also don't
think-
like. Go ahead, Cisco.
I was just gonna say I don't think I've seen or heard that be like a um, like a premier feature of the Switch. Like I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, "Man, I love that the Switch can do this," and like I really
But
like the Switch for this reason. I've never heard
but
that
you've
in my
seen in
life.
a lot of commercials they do a lot of multiple people playing on the same console.
Well, yeah, of course
So
they'll
if
do
you
in the
make it only
commercials.
sing, yeah, but
I've
that's my
I've definitely seen people playing that way just out in
yeah,
public.
same here. Yeah, so that's why I'm
Yeah.
just like, if you make it a single thing, then they're definitely gonna
Ex-
need to have wireless.
Especially that's probably a big reason why Mario Kart is sold so well. It's just because a kid can get it and
And all
more
his
people
friends
can
can
just
play.
can play it. And what I was gonna say about the controller is I don't use the Joy Cons really at all unless I'm playing handheld mode. And with you being able to take one off and use it as a single controller, while I think that's too small and I don't like using it that way, I mean I also don't have to. I don't really feel like it's causing any problems at all. It just feels like an extra option. I don't see why you would take that option away.
I think
Right.
I don't know. I guess if they because
Yeah.
part of the philosophy with how it's built, I think is built around that.
Hmm.
Like I think
You
that
mean
was
because they could slide it out, and that's why it become multiple controllers because they're able to
no. I
slide
mean
it in and out?
I mean as far as how the real estate is used on the controller, like how they designate like the
But
button spacing and how the
Mm.
Joy Cons themselves are like just the whole construction of them. I feel like it's built around that. That's kind of like
yeah,
what
because
it
like
feels like.
the left one needs to work as a single player controller. The right one also needs to if you choose to use just one Joy-Con. So I
Right.
see what you're saying. Like, because I do wish the D-pad would have been, a traditional D-pad, not buttons. Um, but because they had to make it also be like an A, B, X, and Y, it ended up being 4 buttons instead of like the standard D-pad. But once again, I don't think it was also. I don't think you lost out on too much. I still feel like it works well as a single player controller, and that's also why I have a Pro controller, which I believe is one of the best controllers ever made. So I
Absolutely.
really. I don't really have too big of an issue with their controllers other than the drift.
My issue with the Pro controller is just the quality of the plastic on the sticks. Because like you use the sticks and then the plastic wears down, and then it gets in the controller, and then you get drift on the Pro Con as well as the Joy-Con.
That's what
Like
I'm saying. If
so, I think if they can
besides,
fix that, like
yeah,
if they can make the quality of the sticks better,
hmm
then I think that would be really good. But
I believe that GameCube, that Wavebird that Jake posted in our Discord. So if people didn't know, some third party made
That GameCube,
a
yeah.
GameCube controller that they act as Joy-Cons, but you can also use it as like a GameCube controller, and it looks like a Wavebird.
mhm.
I think the people who made that also have they guaranteed no Joy-Con drift in it.
Yeah.
It's a certain kind of technology that's been around since the Dreamcast, I want to say, and still for some reason Nintendo is not, and I guess Sony and Xbox for that matter too,
Yeah.
have not used that technology. Whatever it is, I
Yeah.
don't know what internally is going on, but they have guaranteed no Joy-Con drift with those.
Yeah, it feels like you almost kind of have to, if you don't want Joy-Con drift, like guarantee Joy-Con drift, you almost have to buy like a separate Joy-Con controllers, because that's what I did. Mostly because I like the grips. I want like Joy-Cons with grips because it makes handheld a lot more enjoyable, for your hands especially. So I wanted to have not only grips but definitely something that have Joy-Con drift, because even my Joy-Cons are starting to finally get drift too after using them so much. So it's just I'm kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that they don't haven't had a fix for that. And upon my research too, I found that they are still actually for the OLED models, they are still using the same controllers. They are still using the same Joy-Cons, so
Mhm.
they are still susceptible to Joy-Con drift.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But
Figures.
because of the 2019 class action lawsuit that people literally took against Nintendo for the Joy-Con drifts, they apparently service the Joy-Con drifts for free now, and apparently you can just submit a online form on Nintendo support website, and they service it for free. Don't know how much I would trust that though, but I would rather just buy it a separate Joy-Con at that point.
Not to mention, wouldn't you have to send your Joy-Cons? So you would lose
Yeah.
one
Right.
if you use it for portable? That doesn't seem effective at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really the only way they can. They
Feels
can't
like a
charge
classic
you to fix-
Nintendo move.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you don't get a
I mean,
free controller for it. You're just like, nope.
at
you
the end
gotta
of the
send it to
day,
us.
It's not the red ring of death. So
That's true.
You're also not guaranteed
So-
to get the same ones back. There were a lot of
Yeah.
reports of people
They're
sending
claiming-
specialty Switch Joy-Cons, and they get back like the regular gray ones.
well, they come back whole different
Yeah.
colors.
Color? Dang.
Oh my
Yeah, like-
goodness,
like
really?
You're not
Jeez.
guaranteed to get the same Joy-Cons back. You could send in
That's-
your special Splatoon
Because then they're
ones or
just
your
gonna
special
replace it.
Xenoblade ones, or your special Animal
Wow.
Oh
Crossing
yeah,
ones.
that would actually that would really suck.
And here's,
No, they
here's
can't
some
do that.
refurbished gray ones.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Oof. Like if I got
But
back
then
one
you
of
know
those,
what?
I'd be
Like,
like, oh, cool,
Nintendo-
I'll take one.
Right. If like the problem is that if like one person, if this is like a rare situation or like person gets switched, their Joy-Con switched and everything, like what are they going to realistically do? Like one person can't file the suit against Nintendo because they're too big, too powerful. So it's like everyone would have to group together to file another class action suit that like they did in 2019, and then see if that anything happens from there. And that just kind of feels like a classic Nintendo move, to be honest. They even claimed that they made minor adjustments to the Joy-Con over the years, and like the OLED models are less susceptible to Joy-Con drift than than obviously the original model, but they still said that they're still using relatively the same technology for whatever reason, so they are still susceptible to it.
Yeah, it figures. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I would hope that if they make a next gen console, a Switch 2 or whatever, they almost need to have that figured out. I don't think they can go another console with a new set of controllers and still have that same exact problem. But then again,
Which is
it's
why
Nintendo, so I mean, they might. They
Yeah.
might.
I mean,
Which
if
is why
everything
I'm
else is
thinking
amazing. They
the-
might do it. Yeah.
If they go,
Which
at
is
it
why
again,
in my head
it'll-
I'm thinking the longer we wait for this new gen console, the better it's going to be, because then the technology is actually going to come in line with what we have now.
well, it's not a
Because
matter of
because
it
I feel
coming
like
line.
anything. I mean,
It's
Nintendo
a
will
matter of
always be 5
Nintendo
years
just
behind.
doing it.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
always going to be 5
knowing
years behind.
Nintendo, yeah,
It's
can't have that false.
we
hope
wait
anymore,
we
right?
wait 3 years for a Switch 2, and yes, they might finally have some upgrades, but everything else is going to be so far advanced that we're still going to feel that we're playing
Behind.
with outdated
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah,
We're getting
It's just
the
kinda how it
hand-me-downs
always
from our
is.
brothers, basically. We're getting the hand-me-downs.
Look, I mean, I agree, but like you guys said, I don't need like 8K on my game. If they can just make sure their own games run properly on their consoles, I'll be fine. If you can just ensure that the games that you are making for your own console run correctly, that's good enough.
I feel like internally with Nintendo, they do a pretty good job. They do. There is some Pokemon's different.
Yeah, I was gonna be like Pokemon.
Pokemon. While it's Nintendo, they didn't internally make that. That's still game.
that's
talking-
that's the Pokemon company, not Nintendo.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
if
exactly.
anybody's gonna blame the fault, it's
Yeah,
the
but they-
Pokemon company.
Breath
You
of
could
the
also
Wild?
say they green light for it though, so you could also still say that's still on them to make
Well,
sure that the game quality.
That's different. That's a different
Not-
conversation, though.
Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild, that game barely ran.
That's
And then-
not true.
And then
Ooh.
dude, the frame rate in that game dropped so much.
All right, here we go.
The frame
Oh,
rate on Breath
it
of the
re-
Wild dropped so much.
It's fixed though. If you have things blowing up on the screen, it drops, and if you go to the Korok Forest, it's a disaster. Everywhere else on that, runs pretty smoothly.
But like, it should still run fine. You shouldn't be having that consistently in
popcorn?
any major area of the game. Not to
Yeah,
mention,
yeah,
Send me
I,
some
I,
too,
I
Jake.
agree.
Send me some. Like,
not to mention, play any Xenoblade on the Switch. All of them run like garbage. I mean, the games are garbage, but they should at least run well.
damn.
But all of them run
Them
so
hot
bad
takes.
on
Oh.
the Switch.
Right.
All of them run horribly on the Switch.
Look,
I feel
Mario
like the only
Odyssey
combo
runs
we're gonna
great.
get on.
Mario Kart, great. The HD remake of Skyward Sword runs great. Splatoon runs great. ARMS, the game sucks, ran great. What are some other big first-party Nintendo games? Luigi's Mansion.
mention Mario
looks
Kart?
beautiful, runs great. Yeah, I did.
So the good games
Okay.
outweigh the bad, or the minor ones that have
I'm
been happening.
I'm just saying internally with Nintendo, they while it's not perfect, I'm not saying it's perfect. They do a pretty good job of making sure that their games run well on the Switch. And while I'm not even arguing with you, I want a Switch 2 now, and I've been saying I want more powerful hardware. I also don't think the issue comes from just Nintendo alone. I think it's others outside, third parties with the program for this, who aren't putting in the time that Nintendo is going to put into their own stuff. That's why Game Freak's Pokemon game looked like absolute dog shit.
Right.
And that's just kind of why we need next gen hardware.
I mean, I also
Problem is that I don't even think next gen hardware fixed the Pokemon Company problems. So that like it feels like it's what's the
We don't need to go
expression?
down that.
Like,
We don't
there's-
need to go down that.
that's
Po-
a completely different discussion.
No, I'm not saying like this
There's
is
its
just for
own
Pokemon.
segment.
I'm
It's its
saying
own
that
segment.
like Gage said with like the third parties, where it's like you're gonna have one company that's gonna know what they're doing with the technology, and they know that they know that they can make this game run in this FPS. They can take their time with it. But then you're gonna have a company like Pokemon Company that might rush them, and it doesn't matter when it matters that they get it within this time frame, and that sometimes it's going to suck because it might not even matter that it's a new gen console. It matters that the company is pressuring the animators and workers to get this done within a certain time frame.
Right, but I mean that's exactly the discussion we were saying is a completely different discussion.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just talking about Game Freak again. It's
Yeah, so
I feel
that's-
like there's other companies besides Game Freak that do that too.
But
But
it's still a different. It's still different, like because the discussion is the optimization of the Switch, not necessarily,
The other companies that create the game.
Right.
company's ethics.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I figured I just throw the
Which-
disclaimer in that we don't actually have to talk about it.
let's
Which
see,
would
other
actually
things that I
be
might
cool if they.
want.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was just.
No.
I was trying to get us back to.
Yeah,
back to the main
I was gonna
discussion.
join you. And actually, to go off with Gage about the FPS, it would be actually kind of cool if you can change these settings on the
Ooh.
portable, depending on the game that you have. So, like for computers, you can change
Yeah.
the FPS. So if the max is, let's say 60, but that's only for home. But let's say there's 50, 40, and so forth. And the lower you go, the higher the game you can play. But I mean, you're allowed to still then play it. That'd be kind of interesting to balance that out to see if that would work. But
that does sound like a good move. It just doesn't sound like Nintendo.
No, it
right.
doesn't.
So
Yeah.
I'm just
No, it
like, I
doesn't.
don't know if it would even be possible, if it would work. But I mean, like that would be really good. So that way you could play, let's say like COD, Call of Duty. Like if that was on the Switch, I would have bought that game. But the branding doesn't work, but also like the game can't function with it. It's just too quick, too high maintenance. But the decreasing would have helped it.
PS3 games could still run on it.
And
That's the
PS3 games
problem.
PS3
don't
can run
look
great.
good.
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
Uh,
Uh, sorry, I'm just trying to think of what else I want
Yeah.
for the Switch. I think maybe a better dock. the OLED dock got some things right with putting the Ethernet port like right into it instead of you needing a LAN. I don't know why we were
Hmm.
even using LANs in 2017. Like a whole LAN adapter, bro. Come on. But they did fix that. I think I would like to see maybe a bit of a bigger dock for more USB ports because we did lose a
Yeah,
third USB port.
you always run out. It's just so funny with that thing. Like it just was so quick to run out of
Yeah.
spaces.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was
Especially if
pretty
you
bad.
had the pro controllers that only had cords. You're out of luck if you only have those and you already use two.
Mhm.
Some of the things that I would want to see, and I agree with you guys on everything. I mean, I would love some upgraded controllers and a better dock and everything like that. But I also would love uh, a much better like home menu with maybe a little music
Oh,
and
Oh,
and
yes.
and maybe
Ooh,
just like latest
customization.
news.
yeah,
Because like
customization that would be nice.
yeah, cause exactly, and like when let's say like this Mario Kart DLC that they've been doing, while we all know about it because we follow this stuff pretty closely. I would imagine that a 5-year-old kid who's not on phone or anything like that is gonna have no idea that Mario Kart has DLC now. And I just think something on the home screen where it just kind of like shows like the newest games coming out or just the latest news, basically
Mhm.
promotional stuff. I think
Well,
would be cool for the home screen.
don't they do that for the lock screen? Like show that stuff? Because some people might think of it as like an ad sort of thing, which might take away. So I thought that's why they put it on the home screen lock. So that way you see on the left, you see the news of maybe the news games, but the main topics that are up
Oh, that's
are
true.
that
When you turn that,
Yeah,
that
I
does
was gonna say that.
I
Yeah.
never even thought about that because
yeah.
I forgot that was even a thing. I never even
Oh,
noticed that when it
yeah, it's
pops up.
like the benefit of port handheld. You're like, oh, I guess this is here, and I personally, I get annoyed of it. Like the
Right.
customization, like I would love to do that. Like let's say, for me, you have a Mega Man background behind the games, and you have some music that you actually downloaded onto it that you can personally
Yeah.
play, and it doesn't have to be Nintendo. That would be amazing to do.
That
You'll
would be
then get
cool.
excited.
That would be cool. I think they've said they kept the home screen very, very, very minimal, so it's really quick. And it
Yeah.
is quick.
Mhm.
So adding ads to it or something like that, I do think would slow it down maybe a little bit. But yeah, I don't know.
It might help a kid. No, I get you. Which might be for the parents then, like they have the parent settings. So if they actually have it where you can set it to show the ad, that might work. The same as like you do
True,
your
yeah.
YouTube Premium stuff like
Right.
that. You pay for it, you ignore it. But for some
Yeah.
parents, they could do that, which might work.
I mean I think this a lot of this can be solved with just again using the real estate better, like on the screen. Because right now you have one strip for games, and there's a ton of empty space on top and on bottom. Not that there's
Let me
something
see.
wrong with empty space, but it's like you could be doing efficient things with that. Like
I mean,
you can have like a dedicated corner to the news, or like you can do something with how the screen space is used up to where you can have all of that and it not be super intrusive.
yeah, yeah,
I,
I agree.
I will also say they do have the tabs. I just looked at it again, like on the bottom, showing like news and stuff
Right.
like that. So maybe for that they actually show an image of something new every single time you open it. That might draw the
Yeah,
people's eye.
that's pretty much what like I just think like a thumbnail of
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
is
That I
sort of
could
like
agree
what it
with.
needs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it showed like an ad, I think people would start getting annoyed of it, thinking that Nintendo's selling stuff while they're playing their product,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
might spark some. But yeah, if it was a thumbnail, that'd be I would agree with that, just because it would,
Yeah.
I guess, catch someone's eye.
Like Nintendo
Right.
Wii style.
Wii style.
Yes.
I don't
I said,
recall that.
yeah.
Oh,
So
that'd be
on
nice.
the
Yeah.
Nintendo Wii,
That was cool.
Yeah.
like I think the Wii kind of failed in the sense of where like you had all these empty channels and you were never going to use all of them ever. But
Oh,
Right.
okay, yeah.
if you
Hmm.
did happen to use all of them, then they had these nice little thumbnail esque pictures on it where you saw what everything was, and like a lot of the pictures were like moving. So
Hmm.
for I keep thinking like the homebrew channel, even though that channel technically wasn't legal.
Oh, really? Dang.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's just
The
you
homebrew
saw, you
channel.
saw just like you basically just saw updates of what was going on with whatever that particular channel was, and it was nice. So they could just do
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, because I remember when I had the
I
Wii, I
agree.
even had the weather. I even had like the weather channel, weather
Same.
the actual
Yeah.
weather
Wasn't that
channel.
on
And it showed
default
like the weather.
anyways? Like, wasn't that a default thing for it? I just remembered
I
that.
think so, but I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
think it
so.
might have been.
That
But I think
was
you
so
had to
weird.
like
Like,
actually
little
like
5-year-old wanted to look at the weather, and I'm like, the kids are like, why
right.
would I look at this?
Hey, I'll
But
tell
then
you
there
what the
was
real
also like
feature
I
they need to
think.
bring back is they need to put speakers back on the new Joy Cons. I want those speakers on there again. So
Oh,
so when I pick
why?
a character in
You want
Smash
speak?
Bros,
I
so
thought that
so
was
when they
so
bring a character,
bad.
when you select a character in Smash Bros, you hear like a little screech or something.
No, you hear Terry, come on now, or something like that.
You know what I want? I want them to add. I want them to add a little mic to the Joy-Con so you can blow into it again, like on the DS.
Oh, like
Oh
this.
gosh.
That was. It didn't even work half the time. Or if you just made a sound, it would actually do better than the blowing, and it's so weird.
Then you could actually use the chat feature
Oh
like
yeah,
native
this.
to your Switch.
Oh,
Wait, so
You could be
Cisco,
online with somebody and be trash talking them through your Joy Cons. Let's go.
oh man.
While
the
you're
revert
facing in
Xbox.
Smash, you're just trashing them the entire time while you hit them in Smash.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
Your
Oh,
IP
That would be
address
fun.
is.
right, and then at the very end, you beat them. They throw their controller, and you hear the smashing.
That would give me life, dude. That would give me life.
Man,
So, Si-
if they had that on quick play, playing Smash quick play. Oh God,
that would
I might
create
come back to Smash.
so many
Right?
issues though for Nintendo. Can you imagine how many complaints that like parents and everybody would have of that though? Like
Just turn it off.
They
got
did
parent
that for
controls.
Revert to
Xbox and
Xbox.
everything. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
be a-
They
be a
did
better
it for
parent.
Xbox.
Facts, bro. Be a better parent. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Wait, so
Do
Cisco,
your job.
so you're saying that the speakers on the Joy-Cons is going to give you new life when you hear Anchor Shot on your Joy-Cons, like very loudly.
Hey.
Anchor shot. Anchor
One of
shot.
these. He would love to hear
Anchor
Anchor.
shot.
What's the matter, Cisco? You wouldn't want to hear this coming out of your
Anchor
Joy-Cons?
shot.
every time he gets hit, they just play Anchor Shot.
Anchor shot.
No,
I know
put
you
him in
can still
the
hear it.
put him in the timeout or whatever it is.
Clown Town.
And then
Yeah,
the Clown
Clown
Town. That's too good. Yeah, maybe putting a little speaker on the Joy-Cons is the move.
Anchor shot.
That's for you, Cisco.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Cisco's just like, why'd I bring this up? Like, I set this up for myself.
We went from 2 viewers to 0.
They heard Rex and pieced out. Way to go, Gage.
Yeah, Jake,
killed
the
our
Anchor
viewership.
Shot, isn't it?
You killed our viewership.
That's all right.
Worth.
Worth it. It was worth it.
You,
Right.
It was
nigga said
worth
it
it.
was worth it.
Does anyone else have
I
anything they
reached-
want to say about Switch 2?
Nah.
I think we've kind of
Milked it
talked
for all
about
it's worth.
everything we could. And it was a good discussion. Cisco, anything else you need to say?
I don't think so.
He's looking for
right,
Joy-Cons
well, we
with
should-
speakers right now.
Yeah. Right. He's gonna what he can do to adjust it. He
Modding
wires
the
the
Joy-Con.
Joy-Cons to allow it. Yep.
All right. Well, I guess we could end this on saying that any day now, there's probably going to be an announcement for Nintendo Direct. Well, any week now, since it's already Tuesday. More than likely not getting it this week.
Mhm.
But I mean, coming up real soon, February is going to be here. Next Wednesday is February 1st. And I have a feeling we're probably going to see a Direct sometime in February. So, you know me, I'm getting the
Yeah,
hype train. I'm getting the hype train going right now.
I predicted it the week
You
after
guys-
that Wednesday.
You did, yeah. We have that
Wednesday,
on pod.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Do you
Go
guys
ahead,
think
Cisco.
there's
The
any way-
next week.
Do you think there's any chance we don't get a direct in February?
I think there's a chance for sure.
There's a chance, but I'm thinking it's like,
2018 when they announced Smash, it was in March.
It's true.
yeah.
So
They could delay
I
it.
If
think
anything, we might get some news, but yeah, maybe just no direct.
the thing about 2018 was we got a direct mini in January.
It's true.
And so and with E3 coming back this year, I don't think they want to wait too long. Like I don't think they want to wait too
Right.
far into March to announce it. And another big thing is the Zelda's really creeping up, and they have not started any real promotion for that game yet. And I don't think they want to wait until March to start doing that unless they're taking a whole new approach to how they market this game. So I think I would say we're like 90% like gonna get a direct in February.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
But
Yeah.
What?
that is gonna wrap it up. If anyone else has anything else, blah, 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 blah. If anyone else has anything they want to say, go ahead and say it now. Otherwise, Rex can send us home.
No. Rex, send us home.
Anchor shot, anchor shot, anchor shot, anchor
him
shot,
up.
anchor shot, anchor shot, anchor shot, anchor
Good luck,
shot,
he's done.
anchor shot, anchor shot, anchor shot, anchor shot.
Just wait till he puts his
All right.
headphones on.
Stream's over. Stream's over.
Art.
Actually, it's not.
Anchor shot.